Hi guys, we are here today to talk about our latest property on Easy Properties, Devonbosch. I'm joined by Ryan from Hunt Properties, and I'm also joined by our CEO of Easy Properties, Rupert Finnemore. Welcome, guys. Looking forward to chatting with you today.
Thank you, Carly.
Hello, Carly. Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's good to have you too, man. I can't wait to get into this. Now, I actually visited Devonbosch not so long ago. I came to check you guys out. I spent the day at the property. I had a delicious coffee at your coffee shop. They make really good coffee. And I got this awesome exclusive tour of your apartments, your commercial space. And it was a really rainy day when I was there, but I got to see this epic like mountain biking trail. And, it sort of opened up onto a little dam where you could do stand-up paddling. There was a gym. I actually didn't really want to leave. I was like, okay, maybe, maybe I'm becoming a Winelands person and maybe I'm going to move here. So this is a lifestyle estate in the Cape Winelands, and we've got over 6,000 people already invested in it. And today, I just want to unpack it a little bit more for you guys, and let's hear it from the source. So I'm going to start with you, Roop. Why did we choose this property for Easy Properties? What, from an investment committee point of view, made this an attractive option for our community?
Thanks, Carly. I think first and foremost, you've described some of those things already, but we're always looking for good opportunities. Stellenbosch represents, and Stellenbosch and the Greater Winelands represent a really terrific opportunity to invest some of your hard-earned cash. That property market in the Western Cape and in that Stellenbosch area has just been trucking along for the last couple of years. I think the returns that we've seen coming out of those areas, both in terms of rental demand, capital growth, have been kind of outsized. They're well outperforming the kind of national market in those areas. I think we've invested in a few Stellenbosch properties, and I think what particularly we liked about this one is that it was a bit different from the rest. The other Stellenbosch properties that we've invested in have been sectional title apartments, student accommodation. This one is obviously this massive lifestyle estate, as you would have seen for yourself. It offers a tremendous amount for people who are buying or looking to rent there. I think that the fact that that kind of opportunity in the Stellenbosch area is very limited. There's not a huge amount of massive tracts of land where guys can do these big lifestyle estates. And the fact that this Devonbosch one has been done, it's got all those amenities that you've described, and that innovation hub, which is also an interesting thing, which maybe we can ask Ryan to talk about just now, just kind of lends itself to desirability. And that's what one of the things we look for in the investment committee: desirability, potential for capital growth, good rental demand, and this ticked all of those things. And the fact that it's in the Winelands, which is a little bit outside of Stellenbosch, but it's our first foray into that kind of space. So it ticked many of the different criteria that we look for in the investment committee.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think maybe Ryan and Rupert, both of you can speak to this, but the Cape region overall as a property investment opportunity. I mean, I think I read somewhere that property prices in Cape Town are up plus 140%. And looking at some of the other regions in South Africa, that's quite far ahead of the other sort of areas in South Africa. And I know, for example, that there's an airport planned for the Cape Winelands. It's due to be open in 2027, which isn't that far away. So there's lots of these kind of other factors at play. Ryan, I don't know if you want to comment just on the investment opportunity in the Cape region as a whole.
Yeah, so interesting enough, so Devonbosch sits on the urban edge of Stellenbosch. It's 8 kilometers from the CBD, and it's 8 kilometers from the N1 interchange, which gives you a main arterial road into Cape Town, into Paarl, and into the northern suburbs like Durbanville, Brackenfell, etc. It's also on the Boteleray Road, which gives you direct access down into the N2 and also into the northern suburbs. So it's got an extremely good position. It's almost at like a cross junction of 3 main arterial roads, which gives you access to some incredible amenities, facilities, job opportunities, schooling opportunities, and a new Cape Winelands airport. So you've got Cape Town International Airport, which is in close proximity, and even closer, you've got the Cape Winelands Airport, which is going to bring jobs and the commuter segregation-based community. So I'm actually originally from the north coast of Natal, where we saw that the King Shaka International Airport transformed that whole region into one of the fastest growing areas in the country. And I see a lot of parallels to the Cape Winelands in that regard, that people are looking for maybe a slightly slower paced, more nature friendly environment, while still being in close proximity to the country's best city and some of the country's best outdoor as well as cultural amenities and facilities. So the Winelands has got a lot to offer. It's in wherever you are, it's a 30 or 40-minute drive into Cape Town, Stellenbosch, Franschhoek, and to a slightly lesser degree, Paarl, are three amazing winelands towns that offer a cosmopolitan lifestyle while still feeling like you're in the country. A myriad of outdoor activities, mountain biking, trail running, etc., fishing. There's a lot of outdoor activities. The golf courses around there are amazing. And then schooling. So there's some of the country's best schools in the area. And you've got arguably the country's best university in terms of Stellenbosch, which are opening other campuses and expanding. They're opening a campus in Malmesbury. So there's a lot of exciting opportunities within the Cape Winelands, and it offers potentially a lifestyle more synonymous with what most South Africans enjoy in other parts of the country than what Cape Town offers in terms of Cape Town's beautiful. I live in Cape Town, but traffic is something that is, it sometimes gets gridlocked. You're living in a city which is different to, small town South Africa. So Stellenbosch gives you the best of both worlds. And the Winelands gives you the best of both worlds. You can still live in a town or a village. You can still live in nature, but you're very close to, as I said, the best city in the country.
Yeah, and I think what really struck me when I came to visit Devonbosch, because obviously there's a lot that's already established there, but from an investment point of view, for me, I was amazed at the future plans for this property. So maybe you could talk a little bit about what's currently in place at Devonbosch, but what are the plans? What's to come?
Yeah, guys, it's incredibly exciting. I got teased by some of my friends and colleagues because when we came down, we actually chose Devonbosch to pivot off in terms of the Cape. And I did a video when I said it's the most exciting developments in the country. And I've been for the last 13 years, we've sold. I've personally been involved in well north of 1,000 transactions and developments. Hunt Properties in our existence for 7 years. We've been involved in some amazing developments. But Devonbosch, in my mind, is the most exciting development because they're doing something totally different. They're building a new town on the urban edge of Stellenbosch. So at the moment, they're constructing the town centre. So you've got retail, commercial, and residential, which obviously we're talking about today. In terms of retail, at the moment, there's a fantastic coffee shop, Brickfield Coffee Shop. There's a Italian deli and wholesaler Super Sconto, which originated in Joburg, with a sister Italian restaurant called Asha. There's shared office space. There's a shared office co-working environment space, which is also partly the innovation hub. You've got blue chip companies operating the commercial spaces, and then you've got outdoor activities. You've got the greats of all time mountain bike track, which will eventually be part of and be incorporated into the Cape Epic in terms of their trick day, and then they've got a dam where they currently have e-foiling, and they're going to have stand-up paddleboarding. In terms of future stuff, there's going to be a school. We're in talks with a number of schools. I can't give any names, but the announcement will happen within the next 6 months. There'll be a school getting built in Stellenbosch and Devonbosch within the precinct. So at the moment, they're developing 18 hectares of an 80-hectare development site that's been approved. There is talks of another 300 hectares being developed. but in that 80 hectares, there's going to be retail on the ground floor of all the commercial and residential properties that are currently getting built. And those are going to be in addition to what's currently there, which is the coffee shop, restaurant, deli, extreme golf, virtual golf setup. There's a gym. We're going to have outdoor adventure store, which is going to have running trail shoes, mountain bike brands, wall climbing, that type of setup. We're going to have ice cream parlors, grocers, bakers, jewelers, all sitting on the ground floor of what is going to become what they refer to as Block B, which is going to be a town square. I'd encourage anyone to go look at the site plan, but the current residential building that we are talking about today, the residence sits up on top of a 6-meter high retail sector, and that's going to form a plinth that's going to become a park. So straight out of the residence, you walk out of what is 1 story high onto what will be a park, and that park's going to have apartment blocks and commercial buildings built around it. And directly opposite the residence is going to be a 5-star hotel, a Parks hotel that's going to be a total stay product. So we're launching that in the next couple of months. So there's a lot of facilities that have been confirmed, like that. The hotel, there's a hospital, Mondial Health, that's coming in the next couple of years. The educational facility I'll be able to announce in the next 6 months. There's a leisure sports facility with paddle courts, tennis courts, swimming pools, an aquatic center type setup.
Sure, do we ever have to leave this place, or can we just live there forever?
well, that's the point of it. Sorry, I labored on there a little bit long, but that's the point, that you won't have to leave. They're implementing a 1 hour on the hour bus service into Stellenbosch, so 15-minute drive away, which also brings in, from a livability point of view, there's a lot of Stellenbosch students in IT hub and obviously tertiary education hotspots. So from a residential and tenancy perspective, you're always going to have high demand for tenancy. So we really found that we didn't think that the product would appeal to students, but your postgrad and your third-year students, it's definitely appealing to.
I think, Carly, if I can just bring that back to the EP investors then. I mean, these are all terrific and unbelievable kind of opportunities in this development space, all these things that Ryan have described. The benefit for the EP investors to now get into this development early. You know, each of these different parts of the development that Ryan's described and the future plans, one's almost got to consider it like a rising tide, you know. And so to be able to get into these opportunities early means that with each additional thing that gets built, the school, the demand, it's just a rising tide of capital growth. And to be able to get into that early means that we benefit from all of these things as each phase gets built out.
Yeah, and let's not forget the benefit of also getting regular dividends on this. I mean, I think you've both spoken to the kind of quality of tenant and the tenant demand, the rental demand for this area. We've got universities nearby, we've got other businesses nearby. A lot of people since, I think, COVID have started really relocating to these smaller towns in South Africa and moving their businesses with them and moving their business premises with them. So in terms of rental demand, I think that's, one of the things you mentioned you considered as part of the investing committee. And there'll be rental income that's generated from investing in this property regularly.
And we've got a guarantee. We've got a guarantee in place for 2 years, which de-risks the investment entirely, So by the time that rental guarantee is over, a lot of these other things will be built and operational, and it's even more rental demand. So it really does de-risk the rental from that, the investment from that point of view.
So there's approximately 1,000 people working at Devonbosch every day. So people go and have their permanent jobs, and lots of agri-tech businesses. There's an international logistics business. There's LCL, which is the biggest agricultural logistics company in the country that exports most of our agricultural products into Europe and further afield. So you've got a lot of young, burgeoning, high LSM brackets workers working in the Devonbosch precinct that on our bus service is going to be implemented. We within a kilometer, within 500 meters to a kilometer away from the Kulenhof train station interchange, which is going to be a transportation hub, getting people into Stellenbosch and further afield. So there's a lot from the reason why we offered the 2-year guaranteed rental is to, as Rupert alluded to, de-risk investors whilst we're building out Block B, which is going to have a lot of that retail, a couple more commercial blocks, and a fantastic hotel, which is going to add a lot of value and impetus into the development.
You failed to mention a very important point, which is that you actually have a wine tasting room on the property as well, which for me is a key selling point. Really cool place with an interesting story as well. The winemaker is actually a domestic worker turned winemaker. So incredible story. And we actually had an event with some of our Easy Equities users there at your super sponsor restaurant and served some of that wine. So I think for the investor like me, that's an important point.
I saw some of her wine was actually served at the presidential inauguration as well.
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's the only black-owned winery in the country, fully black-owned winery. It's an amazing story. So, yeah, there's a lot of those stories floating around Devonbosch. There's a big brewery that's looking to take over a warehouse space and put a permanent brewery there. So you can... So all gastronomic needs are going to be catered for at Devonbosch in the future. We're in talks with a couple of paddle operators to put paddle courts up before the leisure centre. So hopefully that'll be something that'll be up in the next year. So there's a lot of amazing facilities that are going to be coming into the development early on. So even whilst we're building out a lot of the adjacent buildings, is that there's going to be a lot of facilities for tenants and residents to enjoy. But I don't know if I can touch on capital growth quickly.
Please do.
So obviously there's going to be a high demand, and Devonbosch is an interesting product in the fact that it's creating a market. So a lot of estates get built according to what the market is demanding. So we've sold out the majority of the units in the residence, so that there is a big market for that product with a lot of people living there. It's not just investors. But by us creating this new town and putting in the retail and these facilities we've just been speaking about, by putting in these commercial buildings and these adventure activities, it's only going to create a bigger market for this development. And from an actual sales point of view, Rupert and his very able colleague Andrew negotiated a very good rate for the EP investors, which is a discounted rate to what the base rate is, what we sold the other apartments for. And we are putting an 8% escalation per month from our launch of the new apartments and the hotel, which is going to be kicking off in September. So there's going to be 8% escalation per every 15 units or every month that we sell, whatever comes first. So you're going to be looking at a 20% escalation on the pricing that these guys are currently getting in at Easy Properties. So from a guaranteed dividend yield and a pretty much guaranteed capital escalation point of view, it makes a lot of financial sense. And then from the subjective point of view, it's just an amazing place to be in. It's very unique. It's not the same as any estate or block of flats that you would find in Cape Town, the Winelands, or anywhere else in the country. Maybe akin to Steyn City or what Century City was 20 years ago. But it's a very exciting node to be involved in.
Awesome. I think that's a great sort of place to end things here. Rupert, do you have anything more, any final thoughts on Devonbosch to share?
Well, only the fact that we need to kind of get this across the line. You know, there's 6,000 people that have invested. We a couple of percent shy of getting this across the line. And I just want to encourage our Easy Properties investors to, dig into your pockets and grab a few extra rands and put them into this IPO for all of these reasons. And in particularly, probably that last point that Ryan made.
Yeah, we're getting in at the ground floor, actually more like the basement, because we're even lower than the ground floor. So, I mean, I'm certainly going to go and invest a little bit more after this conversation, because I feel like I've got insight now, even more than what I had, and I've been there. So, Yeah, guys, go and check it out. It's on the property on Easy Properties at the moment. It's going to close on the 31st of July, so you've only got a little bit of time left if you do want to participate. Lots of really good reasons to do that. So go and check it out. It's month end. You've been paid. Just put some rands in this awesome opportunity. Thank you so much, Ryan and Rupert. We will chat again soon.
Thanks, Polly. Appreciate it. Thanks, Rupert.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.